When Cristiano Ronaldo say that Saudi Arabian league is more competitive than that of a French league, a lot of us found that statement to be a ridiculous one. We found it to be somebody who is just trying to promote a league that it's not known by many, a league that's not really competitive in our eyes. However, this Club World Cup that is taking place in America has proven to a lot of us that the league, it is indeed a competitive one, and Cristiano Ronaldo was not wrong with that statement. Why do I say that? If you watch the match between Al Hilal and the Manchester City, it was a very intense match, a match that on paper, coming from a so-called best league in the world, the glorified league, which is the English Premier League, having their former champion in the team of Manchester City playing against a team from Saudi that is not too known by a lot of people, and when it comes to competition, I mean, obviously we all know that everybody's watching the Premier League, so not everyone understands what is happening in the Saudi Arabian league. However, these guys proved to everyone that Cristiano Ronaldo was actually right, rather, with that statement that the league is more competitive than a lot of people are thinking, and the kind of soccer that this guy played against Manchester City, the way these guys attacked, the way they were compact against Manchester City, their defending against Manchester City was a clear demonstration that they are not a pushover league, that you need to win it, and you just have to respect what they do. And that is a statement that they made. So they played against a Manchester City that is struggling lately, a Manchester City that a lot of us now are beginning to think that they are going through crisis, because last season we are, saw what happened in the English Premier League, losing it to Liverpool, and the performances that Manchester City were coming from Manchester City last season was a clear indication that things are not all well at Manchester City as Etihad Stadium with Pep Guardiola. A lot of people are beginning to bring a lot of things into it, or read a lot of things into the fact that he has lost it. We're experiencing another Jose Mourinho that built a solid team at Chelsea, at Real Madrid, at Inter Milan, but at some point he lost it, and that spark on how to win that are coming from this manager are all gone. That is what everybody is speculating to. That might not be right, but with what we're seeing so far, he's beginning to behave like a coach that have lost it, a coach that don't really know how to communicate his message to the players anymore, because the players are obviously not doing what I believe he's telling them to do. And that in a way is making them perform in a way that is below the city that we know. So playing against this team from Saudi Arabia, it was a very disappointing performance from Manchester City, losing 4-3 to a team from Saudi Arabia. But hey, that's soccer for you. Soccer has evolved. A lot of things have changed about this game. People are investing, people are spending a lot of money to make sure that they are competing. And going into this tournament, everyone wants to win it. Everyone wants to compete. Everyone wants to demonstrate to the entire world that they are good at what they do. So Manchester City losing, was it a surprise? Yes, it was to a lot of us out here. And Al Hilal beating Manchester City, it was a morale booster for them going into the second match in the tournament. So City lost and they're out of the tournament. And that is that about City. We just hope that next season we'll maybe probably find a different City than the one that we all saw this season. Anyway, in another team in the World Club competition that is ongoing in USA, Chelsea, representing English football. They were there with Manchester City. However, Manchester City were unable to make it to the next stage of the competition. The next stage, which is the quarterfinal of the competition. Chelsea beat Benfica in the extra time 4-1 to advance to the next stage, making it in the last 8 teams to remain in the competition. And they're going into this competition as somebody, an ardent supporter of the beautiful game of soccer. I sort of never expected anything from Chelsea, even to advance to this stage, knowing the kind of teams that were coming here to compete from. I don't know where the morale is coming from, because I gave up on this team a long time ago, understanding that they have good quality young players, but don't have the experience that is needed to compete in a competition such as the World Club competition, where you have the best teams all around the world coming to compete. So Chelsea going into this competition, my was that they just go there, they just try here and there, but they're not going to, go further. However, they are the first English team to advance to the last 8 of these tournaments, since this tournament was revamped, and it is what it is now that they are playing. So Chelsea did not just only qualify, they're making money in the process of doing that. Remember, they got 20-something million for participating in the tournament alone. And as they continue to advance, winning matches, the bonuses that are coming with that are increasing. So now they have accumulated a total of 40-something million pounds so far in the tournament. So if they can be able to advance, as they keep advancing, the money keep advancing. So I think for me, maybe that is a motivation for the players. And the owners are letting them know that this is how much you're going to be making, and the bonus is going to come. We're going to be giving you guys bonuses as you advance. So I think that is a motivation that is making Chelsea play the way they are playing. And I might be wrong about that. That is just me speculating. It might also be that the coach is beginning to find his mojo. He's beginning to find his rhythm. He's beginning to understand, after winning the Conference League, he's beginning to understand the players and the system that works for the players best. Nicholas Jackson had a setback in this tournament, and a lot of Chelsea fans were calling for his head. They don't even want him to go close to the bench anymore. I spoke to a Chelsea fan earlier today, and he was saying to me that left to him alone, they don't want that guy to even be on the bench of Chelsea. Okay, we all make mistakes. He got a red card. And that red card that he got, hopefully he's going to learn from his mistake and do better in this tournament. If the coach is going to give him an opportunity to do well, you can all see that Chelsea is signing quality players now. And the news coming through is that João Pedro is also going there now. From Brighton, the Brazilian is going to Chelsea now. A fee of £55 million was agreed between Chelsea and Brighton, with the add-on making it 60 million. So they're also having different players coming in, and this is not the end. According to what is coming out, the news that is emanating from the Chelsea quarters is that they're going to sign more players. So that should now be a sort of a motivating factor for the players who are relaxed, to be able to, sit up and do more for this team. So they beat Benfica. They are now playing against Palmeiras, and Palmeiras, remember, they have one of the star player in their team, Estavo, who is coming from Palmeiras. He's a Chelsea player, but he's only joining Chelsea after this tournament. So going to play against his team, the team that he's going to be representing after this tournament, is going to just be an interesting event for every one of us. We just want to watch and see how he's going to play against Chelsea. Is he going to be able to show them what he's capable of, or is Chelsea going to carry the day against Palmeiras? Well, we have to wait and see what is going to happen in that game. But Chelsea are in the last 8, the only English team that is remaining in this tournament. So kudos to them, to Enzo Maresca and his entire team for at least flying the flag of English football high, and they remain in the competition. In another match also that took place in this tournament was a match between Fluminense of Brazil and Inter Milan of Italy. Inter Milan playing against the Fluminense. Inter Milan were the Champions League finalists against PSG. So going into this game, a lot of people would have expected them to at least show that where they're coming from, the football that they are playing, that everybody is talking about, which is the European football, and people respect that a lot. And that is largely because of the media coverage of these beautiful leagues and how much they've invested in these teams. Hence, majority of them will go to South America, go to Asia, and bring in quality players to come and play in Europe. However, Fluminense, with that man, 40-year-old Thiago Silva, former Chelsea, former PSG, former AC Milan player, who is now playing for Fluminense, made sure that Inter Milan did not score at all. And they kept a clean sheet against Inter Milan, and they won that game 2-0. So now Fluminense is advancing also to the next stage of this competition. So the Fluminense are going to play against Al Hilal, who defeated Manchester City to be in the last 8. In another game that took place in this stage of this competition was a match between Inter Miami and PSG, the reigning European champions, the reigning French champion, the people that, the league that Cristiano Ronaldo once said that is not as competitive as that of Saudi Arabian League. However, they are proving to be the best. They are proving to be not just the guys who won the European competition, but they want to do it beyond the European soil. They want to go out of Europe and make sure that they also win. So as the reigning champions, they did not just beat Inter Miami of Messi. They humiliated Inter Miami by beating them 4-0. And this is something also that I saw in that game that I want a lot of people to understand, right? You're playing against somebody, you're playing against the most sophisticated team in Europe or in the world. That is a PSG. A PSG that won Champions League. A PSG that have players that won the UEFA Nations League with Portugal. So they have some of the best players that are playing there. So the comparison between Lionel Messi and some of these players, to me, I feel it's just so unfair. Messi in his prime did all these things. Messi won a lot. He won a lot with Barcelona. He won a lot with PSG. He won the Champions League. He won so many trophies. He won the World Cup with Argentina. So if at this stage, the guy he has done it all. He is old now. Messi is not a kid anymore. You don't expect Messi to be competing with the guys that are, highly motivated, number one, when they're playing against Messi, because they also want to show their class. The guys that are energetic, young players, they're playing against the Inter Miami side. So you do not expect the likes of Suarez, who can barely run here and there. I mean, these guys have tried. They've done it all. So winning or losing to PSG should not be a reason why a lot of people begin to think that Messi is not a good player. He was a good player, still is. In his prime, he did it all. And we all know what Messi is capable of. We all know what Suarez is capable of. However, these guys are old. They're at a stage now where what we see is what we take. They're enjoying it each day, taking it a day at a time, and that we should respect them and give them their respect. Losing against PSG doesn't mean that Messi is not good. He is a fantastic player, and he's still doing it. All right, so that was the match that PSG humiliated them, and they are going into the next stage, which they're going to be playing against another team that I'm going to be talking about, and that is Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich played against Flamengo, and remember Flamengo beat Chelsea in the group stage 3-1, and there was so much noises from their fans, including the admin of their page on Twitter and everywhere. He was making jest of Chelsea players, Chelsea fans all around the world, just making sure that they kind of make the social media space a lively one for a lot of people to enjoy. But playing against the Bayern Munich side, Bayern Munich made sure they did not have Messi at all. They did not have Messi on the Flamengo side. They made sure the likes of Kane, these guys are just, and I'm happy particularly for Vincent Kompany. Vincent Kompany was a fantastic defender in his playing days. He was a fantastic defender, a leader. And now he is showing that as a coach, which is something that I appreciate so much, because as a coach, You know, you usually people think that as a good player you're not going to be a good coach. But this guy is proving a lot of people wrong. He won the league with Bayern Munich. Now he is representing them in the World Club competition, which he is doing very well. Also beating a Brazilian team 4-2 to advance to the next stage. You know, they're going to be playing against the PSG side that is also in form. So it's going to be it's going to be an interesting match to watch, you know, for everyone who is following this competition. I just also know that at the time of recording, this Real Madrid will not played yet. So we're waiting for Real Madrid to play against Juve. So we'll know the person who's going to win between Real Madrid and the Juve will be facing the person who's going to be winning against Dortmund and Monterrey. So anyone who wins between these two teams will be facing each other. So it seems that on that other side of the competition is going to be very, you know, tough, because you have Madrid, your PSG, your Bayern Munich. You see, they're going to be facing each other there. On the other side, you have Chelsea, who is going to be having the Palmeiras, is going to be having Fluminense and all that, you know. So it's going to be a very difficult one also on both sides. However, the Madrid side, you can also agree with me that it's going to be very tough. But let the best team win, you know. So we're going to be keeping you informed on what is happening in USA. In the club competition, you know, where all these fantastic teams are coming all around the world. We had in the group stages rather. We have in the group stages where the likes of Mamelodi Sundowns represented Africa. Ahali, you know, they all represented Africa. However, they were unable to advance to the next stage, but they made a lot of money. You know, winning a match in that tournament is not a joke at all. And the Sundowns did that. So they made Africa proud as well. It shows that we're improving. And I think this is also a wake-up call to a lot of regions on the continent, where it's only in the Southern Africa now that they're doing very well, in the North Africa, in the northern part of Africa, they're doing very well. We should be able to also have the teams from West Africa, you know, the teams from Central Africa also participating very well, making sure that your leagues are in place, you compete on the highest level, so that now that the World Club competition has been expanded, we'll be able to have a lot of people representing Africa. If you're doing very well, if you have from West Africa, fine. If you have from Central Africa, North Africa, Southern Africa, we all know that we have a lot of teams that are representing us from, you know, the continent. But at the moment, it seems the Southern African League and the Northern African countries are doing very well. You know, other people need to just sit up and improve and make sure that the quality of soccer that is being played in these leagues are very good, and also the payment wise, so that you'll be able to attract a lot of foreign players on the continent. You know, like South Africa can have teams here who will go and, you know, sign players from Brazil and bring them to South Africa to come and play in their league. It shows the quality of the league. We have to give it to them and make sure that others will learn from this and also move forward. So this tournament is an eye-opener to a lot of people, and to show that the beautiful game, you know, it's very entertained and people enjoy themselves and talents have been displayed, you know, at the end of the day. So we've come to the end of this short, you know, analysis of what is happening in USA in the World Club competition. I'll be keeping you updated on some of the stories that are going to be emanating, and also the results that are going to be coming. I'll make sure that you do not miss a thing, as I will be giving you taking you through every step, every team, every you know, stages of the competition, until we get to the final, where the best team is going to be announced and decided on how they play in the final. All right, until I come your way again, ladies and gentlemen, stay blessed.